All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Graybeard Biker YouTube channel. I've been asked to do something relative to passing, blocking, and parking maneuvers. So, that's what we're going to review on today's Graybeard Biker. Alright, so I did an episode a couple of months back on group riding. And since then, I have been asked to kind of break that video down into different segments. So, today is on passing, blocking, and parking maneuvers. This is the last one out of the 6 that we've had to do. The other ones include motorcycle hand signals, riding formation, riding positions, how to handle the ride itself, and roles, responsibilities, and other relative maneuvers. So, let's get going with today. Now, let's talk about specific positions as they are relative to specific maneuvers. If you are just in the pack, in the group maneuver, you won't be doing most of these maneuvers, but it is important for you to know what's going on and what your part is in it so that you know what's going on, what everybody is doing, and how it works to ensure your safety. Let's start again with the road captain, the leader, the person that's in charge of preparation, of hosting the meeting, of signaling all of the needs to the road guard, and then signaling all of the needs to the pack as they are leading the ride. Riding drag. This person is also called the sweeper, the blocker, the tail gunner, but when changing lanes, the leader will signal. Everyone will pass that signal back to the person that is riding drag. They will then get over first and slow down traffic, making room for everyone to get over. Generally, they only slow them down maybe 5 miles an hour slower, but once the sweeper is over and making room, the leader will get over, and then the other riders will move one at a time. As the person in front of you moves over, you can move over. Do not move out of turn. Again, you only do something if the person in front of you does it. Don't move out of turn because you can create an opportunity to break the pack, and we don't want that. Road guards. These people are generally in positions 3 and 4, sometimes 3, 4, 5, and 6. You could have as many as 8 different road guards, as I say. Generally, they're not in position number 2 if there's a VIP, but they can be if there is not. Now, when approaching what looks to be a dangerous stretch of road or a busy intersection that could possibly break up the group, the leader will signal and the blocker will pull out in front of and block the oncoming traffic so that the group may proceed through the intersection as one unit. However, generally speaking, this technique, while very common, is not actually legal in most states. It is in some. So, know your local laws. But in tradition, this is how it works. If the leader signals a block to the right, he does this signal. And then the road guard on the right will go into position to block traffic. If he's calling a block to the left, he will do this signal, and the road guard on the left will go into position to block traffic. The other common one is to block oncoming traffic, in which case he will do that, and the person in the left or the person behind him, if there's multiple blockers, will block the oncoming traffic so that they don't turn into the column. In any of these cases, once the tail gunner gets through the intersection, he will generally blow his horn twice and let the blockers know to come back into the fold of the column. If you see the blocker trying to get back in formation, let them. Some maneuvers have ways specific to let them in, others don't, and you just let them in when you can. Okay, pause. Look at where they're placed. The number 3 position went to block left and is stopped near the yellow line on the left and also in the center of the cross street, blocking traffic. The right guard is in the center of the 2-lane cross street on the right and out of the way of the pack by moving to the right outside of track 3 in the pack's forward-moving lane. And the number 5 position went to block oncoming traffic by being near the yellow line, just like number 3, but centered to stop the turn lane of the oncoming traffic from turning into the column. Then, as the tail gunner passes, he will beep his horn twice, letting the blocker know that the pack is through, and they will then rejoin the column. Now, other maneuvers that do involve you directly. For single lane passing, you don't go until you think that everyone behind you can also go. The leader will generally signal to the left and then pass the car, followed by doing the pass me signal, as he secures the way in the same manner that the tail gunner would. The riders will then pass both him and the car and form a single formation in track 3. This will then allow the leader to ride in track 1 to regain his position after everyone has passed the car. This is done when you're going around traffic or when you're getting over in a very congested sort of situation where the entire group will not be able to get over and the tail gunner can't even get over. In that case, the leader will take responsibility to do that block. Other than that, the congested merge or leader rolling block is just the same. In this case, the leader will call for staggered formation if the group isn't riding in that formation already, and then he will find a space to get over himself. Then he will block traffic like in the single pass maneuver, with the bikes passing in front of him one at a time, getting into track 3. And accelerating in front of him to make room for the next rider behind them in front of the leader until the tail gunner passes, at which time he lets the leader know that everyone is over, and the leader will then use track 1 to return to his position. Now, in both these cases, notice that the passing riders do not merge into track 1 beside the leader. That space is left open in case something happens and the rider needs to get over quickly because they've misjudged oncoming traffic, or the car ahead of them suddenly stops in the lane that they're leaving, or something like that. It is a safety space that is left open in case someone needs it. Then there's also the rolling block. The leader will call for a road guard to block traffic. When he does, the leader will get over first. So if he's calling for a blocker, the leader gets over first, and then everyone else comes in line one at a time in single file after him until we get to the tail gunner position, in which case the road guard will ride up the other track to get back into position. That's very similar to the leader rolling block maneuver. Now, if one member of the group is pulled over by a police officer, the entire group should stop. However, other riders should stay on or by their motorcycles unless they're being confronted by the officer. This is definitely club stuff. I don't know that I would do this if I was on a public ride, but it's definitely something that we did in a club. Lastly, parking. Park in an orderly fashion so that when you leave, everyone goes back into formation. Normally, you will back into parking spaces one at a time like this. Once the area is full, the next group will have to find another place to park that is not in front of the first group. And then they will continue parking again one at a time. If there is a third group, they will find another place to park, again, not in front of the second group or in front of the first group. This is because when departure happens, the first group will leave in order first, and then it'll be followed by the other groups as well, and the formation will reform easily. Dropping off. We've talked about this already. If you are pulling out of formation, make sure that you give the other riders the hand signal if you are having trouble, or if you're just leaving the ride and you're fine. Generally, the tail gunner and sometimes the rest of the pack that's behind you will pull over with you. And then the tail gunner will communicate with the lead to let them know what's going on. This is one of the reasons why there's usually a comm link between the leader and the tail gunner. If there's not a comm link, sometimes he will send one of the other bikes that stopped to go up and to communicate with the leader what is going on. So, these are the basics. Again, clubs make their own rules. Road captains can change the rules, but this is your foundation. It's kind of hard to teach things in order because the maneuvers are going to require that you know the positions, and the positions require that you know the hand signals, and so it gets kind of mixed up as far as the order that you're teaching it. But feel free to go over this video as many times as you need to. Okay, so that's it for this segment. If you want to watch all of the segments in one video, which I highly recommend, I will put the link to it at the end of this one. Or if you just want to watch the next segment in these installments, I'll put a link to that one up as well. So both will be linked at the end of today's video. So if you got anything out of today, if you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And hit that like button, thumbs up. That's all good. It helps us a lot here on the channel. And we appreciate it. You guys, until the next time, stay safe, stay free, keep it shiny side up.